Washington State game coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a topic of discussion or not, but when they were here post-game, they stayed out on the floor for quite some time celebrating.
Yeah.
Brought up?
Well, they know, our guys know, so it's not, we have to, I think we played well enough to win that game. We played well enough to win the game. Made a couple plays. They made a couple plays. It just like when you play a rivalry game, it just there were so many big runs. Like they made an 18-3 run. They started off the game hot. We came back. We made our run. They made their run. We made our run. They made their run. And that's when you play a game like that, and they're playing really, really well. There's going to be some adversity. There's going to be some runs. Can you sit there and just make sure that you're focused on the plays that we have to make to win? We played really well offensively. Defensively, there's some changes that we have to make. To hopefully defend some of their weapons. But they're, since they started Jalen Wells, I think they were 13 or 14-2. He's played exceptionally well. They can hurt you from a lot of different spots. Rice can hurt you. Jones can hurt you. Clough can hurt you. Isaiah Watts is playing well, coming off the bench, shooting the ball. They've been switching up their defenses. It's going to be a tough challenge for sure.
Looking ahead to the Pac-12 tournament.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that yet.
Sure.
We might not get to talk to you.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at it like as a clean slate.
Yeah.
Tournament basketball.
Yeah.
Win as many in a row. What do you take from this roller coaster of a season that'll help your squad in a tournament setting like that?
Our thing is we've been just fighting for consistency. One day we look like a one team, and then the next game, maybe even a day later, it looks like a completely different team. I don't know if it's energy, but we've proven that we can beat anybody, and we've put ourselves in position to win. We just, again, when you go into practice today, and all you're trying to do is how do we make our team better based on who we're going to play, and how do we win this game, and then, really focused on us, because when we, share the ball, we've been shooting the ball well. We've been assisting. It's been our defense that we need to just pick up a little bit in rebounding. We've shown signs of improvement, just the consistency part, and so. You're not changing anything other than trying to just improve. Just trying to improve. And the great thing about this year and this league, so much parity, from top to bottom. And I think when you get into March Madness, anybody can win. That's the excitement. Different type of energy. Vegas is incredible, and I think anybody can win it. It reminds me of the year when Oregon State went and ended up winning it, and then they got all the way to the Elite Eight. I think our league is underrated. I think Utah, Colorado, Oregon, Arizona, and obviously Washington State are NCAA tournament teams. We don't get a lot of national talk, but, Utah went in and beat St. Mary's at St. Mary's. They're one of the hottest teams in the country. Maybe a different part of the season, but there's a lot of work that's been done by those teams. And played against Tad Boyle's teams as good as it can get. Dana's getting healthy. And so from at-large bids, there's 4 or 5 teams. I believe, we're 4 or 5 plays away from being in that talk. And so I know what we're capable of. And there's a couple other teams even behind us that are like that. So it's going to be very, very competitive, really exciting. And, getting a chance to play in March and doing something, winning 4 games in 4 days would be something really, really special.
You have the experience that guys know how to play this kind of tournament.
We played in Vegas a lot, sure. So that's a good thing. I've been a part of it. I don't know what seed we were when we had at Syracuse. We had Jerry McNamara, but we played Cincinnati, who we had lost to twice with Mick, and we won by 1 point. Then we played the number 1 team in the country, Connecticut, and we won by 1 point. And then we played, it was either Pittsburgh, I forget, and Georgetown, who we hadn't had success with for, when Pittsburgh was rolling. And so it's definitely done, but you got to play your best basketball. And we still, the consistency is what I would be more scared about. But in terms of, game to game, we can be as good as anybody, beat anybody on any given night.
Mike, as your seventh season winds down,
Yeah.
there's some speculation about your future.
Yeah.
I was wondering, do you want to keep coaching here, and do you have any indication from the school whether they want you to keep coaching here?
Yeah, I don't, I focus on one game at a time and doing the best job I can. I love the University of Washington. People have been great to me, great to my family. You guys have been great, fair. It's time will tell. I love coaching. Had a lot of great moments. Just got to keep doing what we do, try to finish up strong, and whatever happens will happen. But yeah, I don't know.
Did you see the news yesterday where some other coaches were, Lorenzo and
Yeah.
another coach in the WCC were, I guess, their schools are moving on from you?
Yeah, no, you know what? To be honest with you, I think the best thing for me is to stay off Twitter. Those things, when you go through it, I was one of those guys when I first started. I was like, I want all that information. Now it's kind of like, you just want to. I think the biggest thing, and I couldn't imagine being a 15 to 25-year-old college student, high school student now, is there's just, how do you stay focused? How do you stay focused at the task at hand? And that's what I've been really, really focused on. I mean, do I hear the noise or people talk about it? No question, I have kids. But the biggest thing is it's a great lesson in life, just even with your players. Like, life isn't perfect. You got to put things in perspective, do the best you can, and move forward. It's just what you can do, and I've been trying to live that.
I had a good friend who was a head coach in Division I.
Yeah, yeah.
He always told me, he said, you never stay at a school longer than 6 years.
Yeah, yeah.
The fans and the media get tired of you, even if you're winning.
Yeah.
And he goes, so that's my strategy. He stayed 7 years at his school and got fired.
Yeah. You never know. With ADs or being a leader in anything, you always have to make tough decisions that might not be popular, whatever it may be. I might have to play a player, not play a player. People might think I should be playing that player, but the decisions have to be made on what you think is best. And, I love coaching. I love coaching this team. I know we've, in terms of record, have underachieved in the sense of what my expectation was, and I think everybody, but I think the bottom line is the mission is still attainable. We might have to do it a little different way, but it'll be a heck of a story,
Hey, just after 30-some-odd games, why hasn't the defense been more consistent? I mean, obviously you guys shifted to something new.
Yeah.
But it would seem, again, outside looking in, 10 games in, first 10 games, you kind of get it. Maybe 15 games.
Yeah.
But we're heading into like game 30.
No, I get it.
And the defense is still night
Yeah.
to night. You're not sure what you're going to get.
I think when you put in a new system or try something new, I was always, it's like when we played zone the first 6 years, it was like if you played multiple defenses, you're probably not good at any. And so, you got to get your team to believe in what you're doing. And so I think, the biggest adjustment that we had is when Frank got hurt. I felt like our defense, like he was a different type of a defender in what we do. Usually on ball screen coverage, you're as good as your big guys because they have to talk. They have to, when he went down, we had to shift a little bit with Braxton, a little bit different. We kept him more near the basket than, coming here. So there was some adjustment. And then it just comes back to, I talk about our first year and, people were like, you play the zone and, but you were good at it because you had Matisse Thybulle, and we were good at it. Any defense we would have had played with Matisse Thybulle, you would have been pretty darn good. He was special. But the first 13 games, we were awful. We were overall 76th in the country in defensive efficiency. But in the league, when we got to league, we ended up being number one. And that was because when you're learning something new, it takes time to really be good at something, right? And those reps. Now, again, that was 13 games. We're in game 30. We've shown signs of improvement. We went through a 5-game period where our defense would have been equivalent to being an elite defensive team, but it's just been inconsistent. And a lot of games that we've struggled, like you said, Percy, like you can look at the numbers, it was more so in these end of the game situations where a play here, a play there. And I was sharing with our team the other day, because I heard on a broadcast that we were 340th in the country in being the most unluckiest team, and how they, in Ken Palm, right? They do it based on analytics. And I took the team in and I was like, do you know in luck, we were 350th. Doesn't make you feel good. But, BS, luck is BS. You got to make your own luck. You create your own luck. So we've lost close games. Did we come up on the ball screen that we were supposed to? Did we switch up, which we were supposed to, and take away the three-point shooter? Were we able to get that rebound? That's on us. And so, we've got to be able to go out there and execute. And it's just you try to get better every day. They're kids. You try to keep, simplicity trumps everything. But it's something that we've tried to be new, and we haven't been consistent. And so today, practice. This is how we're going to defend ball screen. This is how we're going to defend the post. Can we do it better than we did last time? And that's what we're focused on.
With athletes, sometimes there's something that causes a switch to flip. And Corin got hurt, and he's been on a roll ever since.
Yeah.
How do you explain that?
You know what? I don't know. He's so talented. He's arguably the most talented player in our program. He can score, he can pass. It's the consistency part, but he's dynamic. And I think, student athletes go through so many ebbs and flows of a season, being confident, not confident, losing your confidence, all those things. And that goes back to the consistency of work. I know he started, with his shoulder. It was hard for him to shoot, and he was afraid of having contact. But, got in there, started working on his game, a lot. He was before, but really enhanced it. And, I can't explain it. He's David Crisp, when we started the league 10-0, he same shot, same everything. He started shooting 55% from the three-point line instead of 32% from the three-point line. I think that makes just a significant difference. And Corin, when he's played well, look at what we've done. We've been a different team, and hopefully he can still do that and keep improving, getting better, and being more consistent, because he's a weapon for sure.
Seems like a difficult argument to make, but how would you make the case for KB Player of the Year? Obviously, it would seem that he's going to win the scoring title, but you normally don't see Players of the Year, coming from a team
Sure.
that, But if you had to make that case, how would you do it?
I think all around. Someone said, if we're nominating for most improved, I think he's the most improved player. And I think he went from averaging 17 to 21, and you still see his efficiency. He's the third highest efficient player in our league. He's shooting the basketball night and day, decision making night and day, and that just is an attribute to him and his work ethic, his professionalism, and what he does. Usually, I wish for him that we took care of 4 or 5 more of those games where it was 1-pointers in our league, because if that was the case, I would think he would be definitely Player of the Year. I think when they look at maybe a 9th place team or an 8th place team, they're going to take the team that did that. And I think if we would have, had a little bit better at home in a lot of those close games, there's no question that he impacts our team. That's the most valuable of any other player that impacts their team. And, his improvement, his efficiency, his leadership, to be able to score that many points in a college basketball and see his improvement is incredible. But
He's probably made himself into an NBA.
no question.
Free shooting for sure.
No question. And his efficiency. They were talking about decision-making, passing, all those things. He's gotten just significantly better. And the fun thing about watching somebody grow, it's like, eventually watching, seeing Corin have his moments, like when you have somebody for multiple years, to see the confidence that he's had from last year to this year, KB. And as a coach, you know, it's like with your kids, or if you're coaching kids. When I got into it, I coached, 10-year-olds. I didn't know I wanted to coach. I was giving like piano lessons. And there was meaning when you give piano lessons, they pay you $25 an hour and you help a kid, you give basketball lessons. And when you see somebody grow and you see their confidence grow, like when somebody impacts your child, son or daughter, in a positive way, and you see them, it could be a teacher, it could be something, there's so much power in that. And, to see KB do that, I give our staff that have worked with them a lot of credit. And that's what it's all about, right? Seeing people improve. And I don't think there's anybody, I know player of the year and this and that. Hardest worker, most improved is a pretty special honor. And even at that caliber, being a second team All Pac-12 player last year and being most improved, that's a player of the year. That's the argument that I would make.
At the next level, who would be his color?
Well, the one game where he got the lobs was at Stanford, where we got up and he did it. The referee walked over and goes, I'm not making this comparison, but he walks over and the one that he caught like this, he goes, I can't say the words, but he said something to the effect of like, geez, that reminded me of Grant Hill on so-and-so. Like he climbed the ladder, caught the ball, like something, that's just, it was different. There was an athleticism that was just different that you saw.
Well, Corn's case for sixth man of the year.
I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, he's who comes off the bench and does what he's done. Impact our team. I mean, he's a starter, but sixth man of the year is a great honor. It's something that he takes pride in. But you know how hard it is to come off the bench. It's like being a relief pitcher. You're not in the flow. You got to come in. You're ninth inning, and Corin comes in like probably at the 5-minute mark, and he just impacts the game right away. We become different. We become dynamic. We become fast. And if he just said, I'm going to be the best defensive player on the planet, he could be. He's got the Matisse thing. He's got unbelievable instincts. That's where the growth is, because he can score, he can make plays. Ooh.
Tone setters can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Who needs to be that tone setter defensively going forward that can really turn the game?
That's the one thing. Even with Keon Brooks, that's why you're one of the best offensive players, efficient. You got to step it up on this end, and it's like when you have to get a stop. It's like the old Wojo, like hitting the ground, and we're gonna get this stop. That's where we have to show a little bit more of that grit on that end of the floor in tight situations. We've been great when we've been up. We've built leads of 20 against really good teams. We've been down 11. We were down against USC with what were we down 13 with 7 minutes to go. San Diego State, we're down 11. We're fighting back, throwing body blows and putting ourselves back in position to win. Where we've struggled was when it's 2-point game, 3 minutes to go, a stop here, a made foul shot here, a play right here, and it could be different. And that's where you got to be the grittiest. We've shown signs of grit and all these other things, toughness. Just has to be in those moments that we have to finish better.
Is like that, and on having a closer, not having a closer, or
I think KB has proved, he's had those moments of offense. Now it goes back to, that's where Frank was a little bit of a defensive closer. Block a shot, get a rebound. You think you have a layup. Crowd gets involved. It's playmakers on the defensive end. Corin's been a disruptor on the defensive end. Like he can play. Braxton, I thought, against UCLA at the rim was as good as it gets. Like I thought Braxton against UCLA on Bona, like he blocked it, he dunked it, he was amazing. Just goes back to now it's that consistency where, against USC we had zero rim protection. We had zero presence. I don't know why, what, how, or where we were, but we need that. And to make that run that we think we can make and hopefully play well enough, we need Braxton Mia to be that rim protector that he was against UCLA, and that energy around the basket and playing behind the defense. We need that. When we don't have that, we're completely different.
One more real quick, I know you gotta go.
You can ask me whatever.
How excited are you and the players to see what's going on with the new basketball facility? It looks like they started yesterday.
It's amazing. The construction, to have a place that's, equitable for the women and us to have a home and to be able to play and some place to call home. I think we're one of probably in Power 5 conferences, arguably maybe the only school in Power 5 that didn't have their own indoor facility. And so to be able to have that, from recruiting to just quality of life performance, when we had it when we had the Mello Center in Syracuse, like every area of our program enhanced academically, the facilities, just a place to call home. The players lived in the gym shooting. A lot of pride, honoring alumni. Like you go in, it's like wow, and so that's really, really exciting and exciting for the future of Washington basketball.
What type
Frank,
of what type of amenities will this place have?
It's going to have. It won't have the offices in there. We'll have our own offices, but it's all about the training and them having an area where they can go and you struggle with practice times, you struggle with those types of things. It's going to be it's going to be great for men's and women's basketball. It's also going to be great for women's volleyball. We fight all the time, not fight, but there's struggle with times and practice times, and we'll have so much more flexibility, and it's just going to be great for really everybody. And they're going to change the front area where it can be a congregation place for boosters, alumni, game day, football, basketball. The plans are beautiful.
Frank's listed as a senior, but didn't take part in the senior activities.
Yeah.
Does he have 2, even 3 years?
Yeah, I don't know. I know he has 2 for sure, and Braxton does too. Braxton, but he wanted. He didn't. Yeah. So we would have So he's. He's kid's phenomenal. Can't wait to see him back.
So he should have at least 2.
Yes. Yeah.
Other than KP and KJ, any other guys maybe up for all conference stuff?
I think Xavier Wheeler. When you have a guy who assists at the level that he assists, as an all-league player. I would say, I believe they, again, I'm biased. I guess you got to look at stats, and then you got to look at records. So, but I think it's rare to have guys that can get double doubles and assists and that, or double doubles with rebounding and stuff. And I think that, he's has had a phenomenal season.
And just the 3 things that you need to do on Thursday?
We got to be tough. We felt like the rebounding game, we got to rebound. I think listen, you're playing that game, there's no more scouting reports. We're not going to have a secret play that we're going to work on for these next 2 days that's going to come out there and be like, wow, that play's phenomenal. This is a mindset game, and we've got Washington State's playing. They got a great belief right now. They can score from multiple positions. People have taken away Jones and taken away Rice, and all of a sudden you see Wells. Jakimovsky makes big shots. I believe that Kyle Smith shouldn't just be Coach of the Year in our league. There's an argument for him to be National Coach of the Year. I got a lot of respect for him. Jimmy Shaw, his assistant, have a lot of respect for him. They've got they've done a phenomenal job. They have a completely new roster, which has been very difficult to do. And they've got them playing at a high level. But the biggest thing about their teams, they're very, very tough. And we've got to be able to match their toughness. They go to the glass. That's kind of been our Achilles heel. If we can rebound, we'll be able to run. Hopefully we can make shots. But it's going to be a great college basketball game. Rivalry games are great. It's going to be our last game in the Pac-12, which I'm sure it will be a lot of fireworks in a good way, because there's so much respect back and forth. And so that's, I mean, I'm juiced. Yesterday I got the goosebumps thinking about it. Like, this is what you coach for. This is what you play for. I wish I could play. You know.
You're not gonna get any breaks because they haven't been in the NCAA tournament in 15 years. And I was thinking about it yesterday. I was there.
Yeah.
And didn't realize they haven't been back.
Yeah.
Since it was in Charlotte, North
Sure.
Carolina against UNC.
Yeah.
So they have a lot to gain and.
Yeah,
to lose.
yeah. Listen, we still have a good net, so it's not like if they lose to us, it's going to hurt them. I think their resumes is like they've built an unbelievable resume, and to be able to beat them there, we're going to have to play well. We have played well. We have the ability to do it, but we're going to have to play well. But the biggest thing, to answer your question, we got to be tough. We got to be tough. We got to be tough. Tough with the environment. Tough with the refs. Tough with their players. Adapt to how the game's being called, and stay together, and hopefully put ourselves in position.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.